Hey, how you guys doing? In this video, we're going to be talking about Microsoft. This is a stock price prediction video for Microsoft. What's going on with Microsoft? And we're gonna look at everything going on with Microsoft. Obviously, it's Microsoft. They've been around for a million years, relatively, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the stock chart where it's at right now, do some analysis. How has it done in the last day, 5 days, 1 month, 6 months? How did it fare against the NASDAQ losing, all its value in the last 3-4+ weeks? And then we're going to jump over and we're going to look at what the top stock analysts think of this particular stock. And we're going to see, is this a buy? Is this a stock you should get into? Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should be like, no way in heck, I don't want to be in that stock. We're going to cover all that in today's video. Always remember, this video is for entertainment purposes only. And if you are interested, please become part of my community. Hit that subscribe button below, bell notification so you get notified. I release videos like this pretty much every single day. So if you're looking at what is, some of the top stocks you should get into in some of the major sectors like tech, EV, semiconductor, you name it, I'm usually doing videos on it. So I'd love to have you as part of the community. Please, please, please drop a like on this video. It helps my channel out, helps this video out, and just helps me spread the word even more. So with all that said, let's do it. Let's jump over and see what is going on with Microsoft. Here we go. Oh, Microsoft, man, what a cool company, and it's been around for a million years. For those of you guys who are like, man, why is he talking about Microsoft? Well, you can't talk about tech, and you can't do these videos without talking about Microsoft. It is a bellwether. It is blue chip, been around forever. I was around, and I remember the launch of Windows back a million years ago. So yeah, I'm in my 50s. Yes, I remember it. So yeah, they're a great company. And so let's real quickly jump in and kind of see what's going on with them. Currently today, Microsoft is up 2%. It's up about $5 a day if you're kind of looking at one day. It's definitely opened at 234, and it's bouncing up pretty nicely. Obviously, the NASDAQ is up really nice today, so it's definitely doing that. 5-day, pretty much the exact same chart I've literally seen for the last 5 days. It doesn't even matter what stock you're talking about. Neo, Tesla, doesn't matter anymore. Excuse me, my nose itches. This is almost the exact same trend line that I've seen. If you look at the 1 month, though, this is where it gets real interesting. Okay, I want to show you this. Now, this right here, this particular trend right here is when the NASDAQ was falling and losing all its value. And if you go look at other stocks, this pretty much started high and went straight down in almost an exact same line. And you're looking at other major companies that have lost 20-30% of their value in the last 3-4+ weeks as it relates to when, following the NASDAQ decline, right? The kind of the correction we went through, okay? But I want to point out something here. Yes, this looks like it's a lot of red and it's bad, but look at this. In the last 30 days, Microsoft, only lost 2.87%. What does that tell us? That tells us that this is a very stable company that doesn't really react to major declines in the NASDAQ and or major, increases, right? It's just stable. It kind of does its thing, moves up gradually. So if you're looking for a stock that is very stable, fairly conservative, right? And that it's going to do well over time, then this is one you might want to consider. It just simply, guys, does not react. At 2.81% in the last month, when you saw other stocks just being pummeled and being just beaten up because of the NASDAQ decline. Microsoft's one that if you're looking to put some money into a relatively safe stock that's going to do well over time. Microsoft's been around for a million years. It might be something you look at doing. Right? And so if you look at kind of the 6 month, you can see kind of almost exact same trend lines. It definitely has kind of moved up and did, it had 243, but it just doesn't seem to move up a lot. Look, you got 16 month, 16% in the last 6 months. If you look at kind of like, again, but declines, and I'm talking about this, guys, from a risk minimization standpoint, risk tolerance standpoint. If you see where I'm going with this, right? So take a thought or take a minute and kind of think about that, right? Because that's really what I would really want to kind of hammer home to you. Now, I don't really, some people would consider Apple to be competitor against Microsoft. I really don't. I think they're in completely different marketplaces. But if you look at, let's compare it with Apple, right? If you compare kind of the 1 month with Apple, blue being Microsoft, you can kind of look, they tend to follow each other. Look at this right here, see? See, they're all kind of, they're following that same. So what that tells us is it's kind of similar, is that Apple really looks like lost, kind of worst case, may have lost, was not losing as much. So it looks like Apple was losing maybe another 3-4% on any one given day. But again, you kind of look at that. Let's look at the 6 month. They kind of follow each other a little bit. Apple's obviously got a little bit higher highs, things like that. But if you look at the overall trends, ups and downs, Microsoft compared to Apple, they tend to kind of follow each other. They tend to kind of do that, right? So yeah, I think it's a great stock. I think it's a really good stock. Now, that's my opinion. So let's go look right now. Let's go look at tip ranks and kind of see what the analysts think. What's the upside here? If you put some money into this, can you reasonably expect to get out of the stock in the next 12 months? So again, right now we know that the stock is trading at approximately 237. It's up about 2% today. So I'm going to cut to the chase. 282.57 is the consensus, the average for what 23 analysts right here, for what 23 analysts think that in approximately 12 months, this stock is going to hit 282, which represents a 19% upside. Very, very nice, very safe, very conservative tech investment. Not my opinion. Top 23 analysts, by the way, 23 analysts have put a price target on this, averaged out to 282.57. And that's where you look at this chart right here. See where it says right here, March 2021, right? And you look at, okay, then you got March of 2022. So they're saying, hey, from March, right now, to March of 2022, you can reasonably expect an average of 282.57 of a price target, which represents a 19% upside. What I'd also point out is look at the low, 245. Even the more bearish, if you will, analysts are saying, hey, the low's 245. Right now, the stock's trading at 237. Probably another week or two plus, or maybe a month, we might already be testing and hitting that low, right? So, but the reason I point out the low is that there's no downside here, really. Now, remember one thing I said earlier, that when the NASDAQ is in major decline, right, that this stock doesn't seem to decline as much, okay? So it's a real safe, good, conservative investment, Microsoft, okay? So let's look at, remember there's 23 analysts. Let's look real quickly at some of the firms that are covering this. Now we've got obviously some of the biggest players, right? Credit Suisse, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, UBS, Piper Sandler, Argus, Barclays, Jefferies, RBC Capital. The list goes on and on and on. And you can look at some of their targets: 265, 315, 290, 292, 300, 275, 300. So reiterated. And some of these guys have initiated it, reiterated 3 days ago. They reiterated this with a price target of 265. 3 days ago, price target of 315. Also, I would tell you, look at the rankings of these particular individuals. Very, very, very high rankings. These particular deals, like Brad here has a 73% success rate. Kosh has a 70%. Keith has a 70%. Tyler has a 61%. These are really high percentages as far as these analyst profiles. So these are analysts you can put some stock into relatively, no pun intended, right? And you can kind of go, all right, this is reasonable. So you can kind of say, all right, so hey, if you're looking for a reasonable, I'm going to say reasonable 4 more times. If you're looking for a good stock and one that is really, very safe, very conservative, this might be the stock that you really want to consider getting into. So a few final thoughts before we wrap up the video. Again, Microsoft is a bellwether blue chip stock in the tech sector. We all know who they are. They are here to stay. They're here. They're going to be here for, until, well, they're always going to be here. And if you're looking for a very safe, very conservative investment that seems to, per the data, stand up against declines in the NASDAQ, this is one you might want to think about. 23 plus analysts covering it, with buys, buy all 23 buy ratings. 12-month stock price that represents a 20% increase of, what is it, 260, give or take? I've already forgotten. But it's good, right? It's 20%. No, 237, and they want, 260, which represents approximately a 20% return, right? Now, I would tell you that's a 12-month price target, right? And so that's kind of how I look at it. I always look at any stock and go, hey, what's it going to be doing in 12 months, 18, 24? If I'm looking to make an investment in a stock, I'm looking at that longer term investment. So those are things I want you to consider, and I want you to take into take into play, right? And so remember that if you're going to do any type of a purchase, please do your own due diligence. If you don't understand a stock, don't invest in it. Obviously, Microsoft is one that pretty much everybody understands. Microsoft is kind of built into the DNA of our culture. Their operating system runs all the PCs in the world. They do a lot more than that. They have, all the software out there, productivity software, Microsoft Word, Excel, all those kind of things, and they do a ton more than that. But, it's a really, really good company, very safe, very conservative tech. And I think it's a really good one you might want to consider looking at and picking up and putting into your portfolio. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I love making these stock price prediction, analyst prediction videos for you guys because I think it helps people out to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in the landscape and kind of make a better informed decision. That's my goal, to bring you these types of videos. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next one, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.